Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us and welcome to another Toys R Us Talking Transformers podcast. So, unbelievably, the amount of things that we're going to be discussing, because what's happened in the last week is crazy. There's just been so many things, all of the reveals at the New York Toy Fair, Takara Tomy with their official images, etc., and official, pre-orders, shall we say, already of the Missing Link and Dramatic Capture series. I'm going to be discussing in this what I keep continuing to be the year of the combiners, which of course I've been mainly focusing on mainline figures, but of course totally forgot about Magic Square's masterpiece Bruticus, because they've just got released all their images of Onslaught, and of course Kang Toys, they're doing their own Volcanicus, and funnily enough I've just finished the Swoop video which is going to go live over the weekend, and that's probably one of the main reasons it's just jogged my memory. But also I did, and in fact this is what I'm going to start off with. I'm going to start off with the Transformers shop in Battersea. Once again, I went down there last week. Apologies for not letting anybody know. This was, of course, it was sort of planned because the intention of the visit last week was little things that I can discuss with you now, but more things to discuss in the future. Now, again, I still can't believe it, and I know this is a podcast, but you can't see my face, but I'm sitting here with a big daft grin on my face because I just can't believe the way that things are going for me in this channel. It's just incredible. So I was sitting there with Warren, the shop owner, and a few other people who were doing planning events and planning all sorts of stuff that I can't go into too much detail with about now, but we will be able to tell you very, very soon. But part one's already been done. I put videos up on the Instagram, etc. They have managed to get in a full stock of so many figures, so many toys, all the Studio series, right up to Galvatron for the 86 line, Ape Link and Double Punch for the movie line, Legacy, they've got all of the Legacy, the final waves in, etc. And of course they've managed to get, for those of you who've not seen, the retro reissue, the 40th anniversary Optimus Prime, and again a load of other figures. Now the other cool thing as well is the website. So I know it's obviously in London, but the website is going through a rapid, not overhaul, but a rapid update as we speak. They are going to be able to ship all of the figures which I've just mentioned, but also all of the things that I think that people lose sight of. When you go to that, it's not just a shop. It's not just, I know it sounds silly saying a Transformer shop is not just a shop to sell Transformers. It's a bit of an experience, and unless you've been, you probably can't relate to that. So whether or not this is what you want or whether you don't want it, I don't know, but I'm going to explain it to you anyway. So there is photo opportunities, with green screens and stuff in the background. That's a bit of fun. They have got the Transformers 1 statues in there. Yes, they've got loads of children's merchandise like pajamas, Funko Pops, plushies and all that sort of stuff, loads of Earthspark things. But as I say, it still is, and it is going to be a huge work in progress. They've been selling blockies, obviously they've been selling YOLO Park, they're selling the Agora models, and as I said, the future is incredibly bright for this particular store. There are so many things going on. They've obviously got this fantastic relationship, not just with Figpin, but also with the Skybound comics, hence the very limited edition covers for the issue 1. So there is going to be loads going on, and as I say, I'm looking to be going down at least once a month to tie in with the things that are going to be going on. So that sort of gives you an idea of how many things to expect, or surprises, or things to look forward to, shall we say, with regards to the rest of the year. Because the Transformers calendar, which again surprised me when I had a real good look at it this year for the UK, and okay, I'm relatively still pretty new to all of, I suppose, the convention, etc. theme, but even, when we were coming out of lockdown, there was just TF Nation. There was TF Nation in August in Birmingham, whereas I was looking at the calendar this year, and in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be at the TF Minicon in Manchester. Then, of course, we've got MCN, we've got the first ones we've got one in May, and we've got one in October in London. There is the TF UK Con. Before that, there is the Transformers Day on September the 17th, which they did last year. That's going to be an ongoing thing, by the way. There's loads going on. It's a crazy year. It's a great time to be a Transformers fan, and as I said, I'm going to be in and out of the particular shop in London on a monthly basis. So that's how much stuff's going to be going on with regards to all of that. So keep your eyes on here. Don't forget to check out the website. They are constantly updating it, and as I say, they're going to be able to ship to pretty much most countries in the world. So yes, please do keep your eye on that. But I think we're going to segue from that. Funny enough, let's go to Missing Link. Let's go to Takara, because whilst I was there, whilst I was at the shop, Takara went and dropped official news that the missing link RCs were going to be exactly that. They are a legitimate thing, and they are both coming out. One is number 7, which is the prototype colours, and one is number 8, which is the cartoon colours. And what's interesting with this is, it's RC, which we never, of course, got in G1. So it's interesting that they've gone for her for missing link. Now, I already know that particular one of my good friends, he's not happy with that at all, because of course she didn't have a main G1 release. But I think it's great for people, you know, because we didn't get a main G1 release. I'm sure he's going to buy them anyway, but I think the fact that they've got numbers is going to irritate him. But yeah, I mean, RC, who'd have thought it? A Generation 1, both the, as I say, decos, they both look incredible, right down to the rub sign being, you know, ever present in the indentation on the roof or of the bonnet of whatever it is of the alternate mode. It's just so 80s. It's just so G1. It fits absolutely perfect. So really, really excited for them. And again, really pleased that they are looking to continue this toy line. There was heavy, huge rumours, shall we say, that when it first started off, that there was going to be 6 and only 6, which were, of course, Optimus Prime 2 decos, Bumblebee and Cliff, and then, of course, the Corden and Sunstreaker. But obviously now, with the fact that I really genuinely believe how well this toy line is going to be doing, and as I've said and discussed many other times, I genuinely think that this toy line is going to carry on pretty much like a Generations toy line, or like the Masterpiece, because there's obviously such a huge demand. I think they've done 3 production runs of Optimus Prime now. I may be wrong, but the amount of times that I've seen them sold out worldwide, then all of a sudden they're back in stock, especially on places like Show Z, you know, which has direct links with Takara, etc. And indeed, of course, in demand in the UK, you know, the amount of times that they get restocks. So again, they're obviously looking at it and thinking this is a main toy line, let's continue it. And as we've discussed, you know, as soon as they do Sideswipe, we get Red Alert, you maybe get your Tiger Track, Deep Cover, etc. So I think it's in their own interests. And for us fans, it's fantastic that they, of course, continue doing these. So Missing Link, really excited to see what comes with the rest of for this year. Also excited for their dramatic capture. I suppose that's this take at... They tend to do like premium decos on things anyway. As I say, if you go as far back as like 2010, when I was first buying loads of Generations figures, they had stuff like Henkei and all that, and then they moved on to Transformers Unite, which was again slightly different decos, and they seem to have always done like a premium deco over the years. It's just something that they've always done, and I think the most notable of it, and if you're relatively new, I say relatively new, we're going back to Siege and Earthrise, around about that sort of time. So we're going back 6-7 years. If you started collecting then, you will have noticed that Takara had started doing a premium finish toy line, which again was using existing molds, but just giving exactly what it says in the title, giving them a premium finish. So it's something that they've always done. They just tend to change the name or change the marketing around it, whereas the dramatic capture is this take, this current situations right now premium finish, because that's what they're doing. And this is their 4th one already. Of course, the first dramatic capture was the Nemesis Bridge, which in my opinion is the best version of the Shockwave and indeed of the Megatron. Soundwave, I think, is on a par with the Netflix, but in fact it probably surpasses that, in honesty. It probably is the best uses of that particular mould. Now, I know people aren't going to be happy with the fact that, you know, they've used their moulds loads of times, and exactly with the one I'm going to give you as an example next, why did it take so long to get the Optimus Prime one? Because, of course, they used the Earthrise mould for the next dramatic capture series, which was, of course, the Autobot Arc Headquarters or whatever it was, which had Mainframe, Jazz, and Optimus Prime. That, hands down, again, that use of the Earthrise Prime is my definitive one now. If I'm using Earthrise Prime as an example rather than the Commander class. Mainframe's redeco was fantastic to look like the G1 Action Master, and Jazz, you know, again, I'm not going to say meh, which it sort of is, because that's like the 5th or 6th use without too much details changing. However, a lot of people will argue that it is the best representation of that particular mould. Then, of course, we've got the triple takeover ones, and that's not 6O's thing, but that's what they're calling it, which again is the 3 triple changes in it for the Decepticons. There's Octane, Blitzwing, and no, there isn't Octane at all. Anyway, they're the different, better decos. Starscream's there with... Maybe, no, it wasn't Octane. I'm trying to think now. Anyway, I can see the picture. I can see them in my head. It is Blitzwing with, again, an amazing paint deco. Starscream, the same, and Astro Train. That's the one I'm thinking of. And already Astro Train, they all look to be the best representations of them. And now, as I say, the brand new one is the Origins dramatic capture. And the only thing that's looking a little bit bad at the moment is it looks like they still haven't managed to sort out the colour matching for Bumblebee's alt mode. If you remember, or if you've seen videos of it, a lot of the black managed to seep through onto the top. It looks like they've still got that same issue, unfortunately, but I'm definitely going to be getting it because it looks great. And again, I'm going to do a much more detailed separate video with actual images on that to show you the new images of that. So Takara smashing it at the moment. New York Toy Fair then, of course, which was Hasbro's. Wow, I was actually doing a live stream and people were messaging and putting comments during the chat. You need to check out this, you need to check out that. And I think first and foremost, I'm going to talk about the Hot Wheels, because they came, to my opinion, out of nowhere. I mean, obviously I know we've had the Optimus Prime transforming one and we've had the normal Hot Wheels cars, but I didn't realise they were going to do these. And they're just stunning. They're absolutely beautiful. It's just a great idea. I've said this. I'm not going to talk about them too much because I've already discussed a little bit about them. I do think that we could be potentially in trouble in a jokey way. What I mean by that is, of course, Hot Wheels are vehicles. And, of course, Transformers are primarily vehicles. So I suppose if they really, really wanted to, this is an excuse for them, not just to print money, but for them to use whichever vehicle molds, which, yeah, again, they don't have to be cars. They can be helicopters. They can be aeroplanes. This could be one of the next biggest toy lines ever. I suppose it's not infinite, but if you try and think out there I dread to think how many Hot Wheels toys, figures, vehicles, track fleet, all the other things that I can't even think of because I don't know too much about Hot Wheels. If you think, okay, products, let's narrow it down to products. If you think that they gave every single one of them a transformable, that's it. They made them transformable. Wow, that's it. You'd never be able to keep up. So let's hope they don't go too crazy with it all for that reason. But again, as I always keep saying, guys, it's a great time to be a Transformers fan, especially for that. I know loads of people who collect Hot Wheels, etc. And then, of course, the next things that we saw was Vortex, which again, amazing, absolutely amazing. Crasher, again, I'm not going to dwell too much on her. Really pleased for the people who missed out on her. And of course, we had Alchemist Prime. He looked fantastic. That was the first lot that I thought, well, that's all we're going to get to see. Which, you know, to be fair, that's it. That's 5 figures. That's more than enough, I think, for now. And then, of course, within a few minutes of that happening, we got images of the booth. And I'm just going to go through some of the lists of the figures, as I say, that we've seen and I've done countless videos on already. So, of course, we saw the Leader Onyx Prime, which, of course, funnily enough, is a triple changer. Of course, we've got the Beast Mode, Robot Mode, and Centaur Mode, which, again, looks incredible. That was put on its own pretty much pedestal, had its own little display. And yeah, it's great to see these Age of the Primes figures full-sized, as I say. My knowledge on the Primes isn't the hugest. I've not read all of the lore, all of the novels, etc., but nobody can sit here and argue the fact that these aren't better than the teeny little ones we got of them in the Power of the Primes Mini Pretenders. I'm sure nobody would argue with me on that particular thing. The Studioseries Devastation, Elite Seeker and Ground Soldier 2-pack. Again, even though I don't know too much about that, I think it's good news for the people who missed out on the Runabout and Run Amok mold, because, again, they've obviously just used it. I'm not saying they tested it with the Ground Soldier, but I think, obviously, with the fact that they are listening to people with what they want, with all these reissues, which I haven't even made a note of actually, but I might as well talk about them here now. With all these reissues, Siege Prowl, Siege Skywarp, which was commanding insane prices in the secondary market. Yeah, it looks, as I say, I would be very, very surprised if we don't see the Battle Chargers reissued very soon, purely because, of course, maybe they're teasing us with it. Maybe they're saying, look, here's the mold. We know we've still got it. We know it's still okay. And then, guys, just, hang fire. We will get these other ones out to you. I don't know. I think what's interesting is that all of these figures that they are doing the reissues of, some people are saying, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? But if you remember, it was B-Mac himself and indeed Mark Clonus who put up on their Instagrams. They actually put up a post, let us know the names of the figures that you missed out of and that you wanted. And of course, these were all, I remember checking the comments out loads, and they were all of these figures, of course, were in their and absolutely, by abundance. And obviously they're listening, which is great, because there's a couple of ones, I didn't get the Nightbird, which was the RC mold. There's a few others that I missed out on, so it's a great opportunity for us all, fingers crossed, to fill them gaps in our collection. The Age of the Primes Wreck and Doom collection 2-packs, we'd obviously seen Spinister and Topspin. But the Carnivac and Fissitron 2-pack, I still can't get used to calling him Fissitron, is Iron Fist. If you're wondering who Iron Fist is, I've done a review of the G1 Iron Fist, but for obvious reasons, like Marvel, they can't call him Iron Fist anymore. So that 2-pack for me is an absolute must. It's great to see that. I know it's another use of the Hound mould, but I'm very excited for it. And I know, of course, Carnivac is another use of the Weird Wolf mold, but it looks good. And these are figures, or these are characters, shall I say, that that you don't expect them to get. You don't expect them to get the updated versions of these particular figures. Carnivac was, let's be honest, not a huge character. Did have a little bit, funny enough, of course, in the Mayhem Attack Squad in the UK comics quite late on. They're great stories, by the way, and if you've not read any of the UK stories, funnily enough, I've done an entire playlist, all 332 issues, where you can read them yourself on this particular channel. So I just literally go silent and pan over the text and the images, and you can read it for yourself if you want to, so you can see just how much, where all this Wreck and Doom is coming from, because it was a lot of the Wreckers versus the Doom and Destruction. It's nice to see these relatively small characters get exactly that. New toys. My main wish, which is something completely different, I just want a really decent Thunderwing figure, to be fair, with regards to some of them issues of the comics. We also got to see the Generation Selects Titan Triptychon. I bit the bullet. I wasn't going to, but the amount of images that I've now seen of that figure is completely... I've always thought it looked great, don't get me wrong, but I just... A, haven't got the space, B, it's £200, and I was maybe going to hold out until, fingers crossed, that it might have got reduced. But with this one, there seems to be a different kind of buzz about it. There seems to be exactly that, a bigger buzz. So I'm preempting that they're not going to make it to sale, because I think that they're going to all sell very, very well. Like your Omega Supreme, that you just can't get hold of anymore. Some of the Titans, you can sort of tell, you can... By the feeling of the fandom, by people's comments, whether or not they're going to do really well. But with, like Nemesis, exactly like Nemesis, she's so hard to get hold of now, because she had just such a huge buzz around her. And I think this is exactly the same with this Triptychon, because the amount of people who are saying, I missed the first one, I'm definitely getting this, or even just people who've got the original but just prefer this new one. So yeah, I bit the bullet, pre-ordered that. I'll be reviewing that one as well. And then, of course, the great thing, that the figures that I don't know anything about, like your Cybertron Deluxe Sideways and Excellion, again, figures and toys that I don't know much about. The Unicron Trilogy are huge gaps in my, and black holes in my Transformers collecting knowledge. So it's great for me as well to learn about things that I've never sort of heard of, and to go back and see them. I think that's pretty much gone over most of the Toy Fair stuff, because I've discussed them in some other things, so I don't want to keep going over and repeating things. So this is going to now come into teeny bit to third party at the end, of course, and that's what I say. So Magic Square have been upscaling all of their Legend scale Bruticus figures, and they are rapidly getting through this. I mean, we've had Swindle and we've had Brawl very quickly. I think only a few months between them. Now, of course, we're getting their take on Onslaught. That's on pre-order as well, because I'm being lent that by a subscriber. So that's going to be really interesting. And funnily enough, I don't know how I managed to forget about Kang Toy's take on Volcanicus, especially with how immense their take on Predaking was. And of course, so they've got a lot going on this year. So Terrahal is the name of their take on Swoop. I've managed to get the video done. It's another insane figure, completely stylized version of that beloved Dinobot Swoop. And this is going to be an insane combine. It's going to be huge. Again, I mean, these are all, by the time that I combined up Thunder Kang, which was their Predaking, easily as tall as, the HasLab Unicron, which is, I suppose, the biggest official Transformers figure. Not as big as the Lewin Metroplex, but still more than big enough. And when you get to see the actual video when I put it up, probably tomorrow night, which is Friday, depending on when you're watching this, the accessory that comes with him is the hand, because Swoop is going to be an arm. And it's, you know, it's easily a child-sized hand. It's huge. And again, it turns into a spider. It's got its own little transformation. It's just so crazy. So as I said, overall, a ridiculously good week of Transformers. Even though I did a toy fair today and there's nothing on the shelves in the UK, in the mainline retail, we've got so many things to look forward to with Age of the Primes, with Studioseries 86, with the combiners, with third-party combiners, with the toy fairs that are coming up, with the conventions that are coming up, and indeed with the Transformers, the shop that's coming up as well. So as always, guys, it is crazy. I'd love to hear all your comments and thoughts. And again, I'll keep you all posted on the Transformers, the shop meet updates as well. And in the meantime, don't forget to check out that particular website and get yourself some very limited edition and indeed exclusive apparel. Okay, guys, thank you for listening to me. Take care, and I'll check in with you soon.